Hi, this is Doug Jones, and you're listening to The Stuff That Fascinates Us Broadcast. Podcast. Shut up. Okay, wait. Let's do that again. Take two. What are you?
I'm Groot. Oh! Great Odin's Raven!
Bite my shiny metal ass.
Why the fuck would you do a thing like that?
Hi, and welcome to the Stuff That Fascinates Us podcast. Tonight we are going to be discussing DLC, its positive and negative effects on the industry, and whether it's being exploited by publishers. And gathered at the round table tonight, we have myself, Norman, aka Norman.
Me, Cam, also known as Si.
I'm Steve, I'm otherwise known as Weresmurf.
I'm Adam, also known as Bloodfist.
And joining us for the first time tonight, we have...
Jason, aka Bub the Zombie.
Now, guys, let's join in a round of applause because that took us about 7 times to get done. Ready, set, clap. All right, so what we've got going is, over the last few weeks, we've had a couple of games come out that have an extensively, shockingly high amount of DLC coming. Cosmetic or not, game-changing or not, these games have some of the highest amounts of DLC we've seen on released games in recent times and in quite a long time. And what we're going to do is discuss about how DLC is being exploited and the consequences of this happening. And quite frankly, why are we still allowing it to happen when, to be frank, we're the ones that hold the power?
When we do say discuss, what we really mean is we're going to vent our spleens.
Having said that, not all DLC is bad.
No, okay. So I'm gonna kick things off with an example. Recently,
just before you start, Steve. Just before you start, shall we throw out the virtual swear jar?
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So I'll be the first one to throw in a coin. So fuck season passes. There you go. There's a coin.
I'll put in my standard $20.
And I am far too eloquent to lower myself to that level.
You get a coin just for using the word eloquent. But Nintendo may sue us for the Mario sound.
Go the Sonic rings.
They might actually sue us for just mentioning Nintendo.
I didn't quite catch that last. Whew.
So
This video may take 6 weeks to get to the net. All right, so recently Cam and I decided to partake in buying Dying Light. We both bought it when it first hit the internet for the PC. We bought digital copies. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was a thoroughly enjoyable game despite its many flaws.
Love the game. Brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely rip-roaring time. It has quite a few flaws, but it's just such a fun game. And then I saw what they're offering with their season pass.
Oh, crap.
If you are one of the people who got the season pass for free with your pre-order, you've got what you paid for.
Oh, crap.
In terms of the season pass. You better thank God that you got it for free. Because everything that's on offer for that season pass is worth the price you paid. It's worth sweet fuck all.
No!
You get a free horde mode. You get a paid horde mode. You get 2 buildings that you can go into and fight, and you get a bunch of weapons. Now, this is all stuff that has clearly been taken out of the game. This was clearly all in the game to begin with, and it's just been taken out of the game and been made into a rudimentary season pass to make money at some point.
The hell you say?
But given the absolute screw up of Dying Light's release, they have decided to release it all as an I'm sorry. So that's...
Sorry, Steve. I didn't get to play Dying Light. What was the screw up with the launch? Did you say?
Well, the actual way that the physical copies of Dying Light were released for console and for PC was screwed up. They were held back for, what was it, Cam, about a month?
About a month. They should be out in about 10 days, I believe.
Yeah, so,
All right.
and yet
Yep.
the digital copies were released 27th or 28th of last month.
Yeah.
Hence why we're now finished with the game and everybody else is still champing at the bit. But the fact of the matter is still that by having such lame DLC for a season pass, charging $29.95 for this crap, it's ridiculous. And then I see things like Call of Duty, where I'm sorry, but charging, how much is the season pass now for that?
It's about $60, $70, I think.
The price of a whole fucking game.
Last time I bought a season pass for that, it was about $30. That was Black Ops 1. $60.
Yeah, well, the last time I bought it for, I think it was Ghosts. It was about $62, I think, for the DLC, for the pass. But I think to download them individually, they were about $20 each. So you were saving $18 by downloading it digitally. Yay.
Yeah, wow.
The question is, how can you I know that you say that as a joke, but how can you honestly say you're saving anything when it's a digital product? It's got no physical worth.
No, that's right.
And on top of that, it's the price of a whole freaking game.
Yeah.
The most offensive one I've seen this week is Dead or Alive 5. Apparently, and I use the word allegedly in case I have anything wrong here, but a $92 season pass and $800 worth of cosmetic DLC.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, no.
That trumps even The Sims 3.
Yeah, exactly. But at least with The Sims 3, you're getting, I guess, some sort of extra content. But what you're talking about there is just skins, isn't it? Just like costumes.
Tits, ass, and clothes.
Pretty much.
Exactly. $800 worth of costumes, yeah. That's not DLC.
Well, let's put it into context. So that's $800 is nasty, but there are worse ones out there. I mean, you go for the train simulator, and that has $4,509 worth of DLC that's available.
What the fuck?
The South London Network Route add-on is about $40. London Faversham High Speed Route add-on is another $40. You get trains for about $20. You can get some really nice, decently priced ones of around $7. But yeah, there are you go to the Train Simulator 2015 and you are scrolling for a while to view all 86 odd DLCs that are available for that. Now, none of them are probably essential, but it certainly shows that there's a large amount of, there are some companies that have just grabbed DLC and run with it.
Now, not to play devil's advocate at all on this, but like I said with the reselling on our other podcast, if people are going to keep paying this, they're going to keep doing it. That's the problem with people. It's crap, but people are still going to spend money on it.
Absolutely.
So I mean, it's. I don't think it's a problem that's going to go away anytime soon.
Think about the Order 1886. We've been talking about that lately, and how the campaign's only 5 hours long. That's been a hyped game that's been mentioned since they first mentioned the PlayStation 4. A 5-hour campaign. There's surely going to be DLC coming, and people are going to pay that. And those DLCs will almost be as long as the original fucking game itself.
What are you talking about? The DLC probably will be the original game. There's just all the stuff that's cut out.
True.
But what?
Didn't you notice it's no longer I was going to say it's no longer the Order 1886. It's the Order 188, and you'll have to buy the 6 in the season pass.
The problem that I think has happened is as we've grown, as game companies have gotten over time, there used to be a checklist. you'd have the game finished, and that was your number one checklist. Has everything been done? We've got the game finished, ship it. Then they had a checklist of, well, we've built the game, we now need multiplayer, otherwise we can't go live. And then you'd have other checklists that would come in, and now DLC's been added onto that checklist. So, they go, right, full game. Is it bug-free? Well, no, but, it's not going to crash too much. All right, that clicks that checklist. Multiplayer, has that been rammed in there somewhere? Yep, okay. Have we advertised it conveniently, ignoring all of the major things that are going to upset people? Yes, we have. And is there DLC ready to go? Yes, there is. Great. Ship the game.
In Australia. No, but that's right about the checklist. I mean, a great example of it is how those checklists work, not to get too sidetracked, was a game called Total Overdose, I don't know if anyone here remembers it at all. It's a shooting game where they used like a Mexican angle on it. They said that the developers started off just having this really cool shooting game where you would have the slow motion Max Payne sort of thing going on, had these highly interactive stages where you could do really cool stunts. And then the publisher stepped in, and the publisher said, it's really cool at the moment? Open world games. Do you have an open world section? And they said, no, we've got stages. You need an open world section. And they said, oh, okay. So they added in this rudimentary open world section, and it ruined the game. It really did. It was complete shit. The stages that you drove to and did were fantastic. The open world part was crap. So that goes to the point that a lot of games now are being shoehorned in with the whole checklist of, does it have DLC? No. Give it DLC. Does it have a season pass? No. Yep. Give it a season pass. It's ruining a lot of games.
Yeah.
Okay. Dying Light reeks of that. I'm filling that swear jar to the brim, aren't I? But that's like Cam said with the whole thing. That's what it reeks of to me. But I mean, let's think about how DLC has helped.
Surely you can't be serious. I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
Oh, that's an easy one. That one, because I actually think that, despite what we're saying so far, that some DLC is really good. Like, as you know, I'm a fan of Nazi Zombies off Call of Duty. When the first World at War was released, they threw in Nazi Zombies just as a little bonus for when you finish the game. And then it just took off, and they're like, oh wow, we've got to give these guys more maps. And it's like, the only way to do that is through DLC, which is like, fair enough. Guitar Hero.
Yeah, one of the best.
You get a certain amount of songs on the game, which is fair enough, and then you can go, well, you used to be able, until they took it off, used to be able to go online and just buy more and more songs, hundreds of songs, and that was a cool idea too. Blood Dragon and Undead Nightmare, they're another two good examples of DLC. Yeah, they were both fantastic, and in both cases, I actually preferred those to the actual game, if I'm going to be honest. And they were fantastic ideas for DLC.
You've never played through bloody Red Dead Redemption, so you can't say that.
No, I started playing it, and then I just sort of went, meh. I will eventually get to it, but I've got so many bloody games here. I'll start playing one, then I'll play another, and then I'll play another, and then not get back to another one. But, Undead Nightmare had me gripped. Of course, I'm a zombie lover, so that probably had a lot to do with it.
There's a big difference between expansion packs and DLC, and at least that's what they used to be. But then you got people like Obsidian, ZeniMax doing things with Fallout, Skyrim, and Fallout New Vegas, where those particular games, they're sort of like expansion packs, but they were more DLC, and they were sort of right in between. Even BioShock, I think, with the Under the Sea one that they did in BioShock Infinite, was a very, a nice contained story that sort of followed on from what happened, like what's happening in the original game, but isn't essential to the original game. So if you never do buy it, it's not like you missed out big time.
But see, also with games like Skyrim too, you get a lot of, especially through Steam, you get a lot of fan-made stuff and a lot of mods, which I guess you can count as DLC, that are free. Like the HP Lovecraft one on Skyrim. They got a whole, it changes the game to be a HP Lovecraft Mytho style game.
I was going to say you're exactly right. That's DLC is mods are the anti-DLC.
Yeah, they are.
They are. They're the ones that the people make their own mods. I mean, their own DLC basically. And if people are going to keep charging, if publishers are going to keep charging that much money, mods are going to keep coming out, and we're going to get more hackers and we're going to get more modders in games because underwhelming DLC.
I feel you're right that the modders are basically the ones that they set the bar for DLC.
Yep.
You know, if the modders are doing something brilliant and it's popular, then basically their DLC has to rise to meet that. If you're an official company and you're doing something that's just absolute shit, and the other people, the modders, are coming up with things that are just standing out, people are going to go for the free stuff more than they'll ever go for your DLC, and that's a great driving force for them to not only go, well, we need to lift our game, but we need to excel the modders.
Well, again, going back to Nazi Zombies, there's a whole modding community to make maps for Nazi Zombies on the PC, and well, except for Darius, because you can never beat Darius. But some of these maps are fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you want to look at the ultimate mod going around at the moment, well, actually, it's still going at the moment. Jesus, it's got to be approaching 17 years running. Counter-Strike. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
None of us play it, sure. But
is that a predecessor to Call of Duty or something like that?
The thing is that Counter-Strike started as a mod. And then you look at DayZ. DayZ started as a mod.
Yep.
A mod gave it life. And then I see the way that something like, say, what did they call it? The War Z started. And they tried their microtransactions, which are another form of DLC. Mm-hmm. They're a variation on DLC. Something that I particularly hate myself, because DLC gave birth to microtransactions.
Oh.
And they are the thing that I despise the most.
Oh, yeah.
They're a disposable method of making money. You can never get your money. You can never get your money back on them.
Yeah.
You never get your worth, out of them.
It shows the commercial side of something that used to be fucking fun to do. Well, it still is fun to do, but there's not that much out of it there anymore, because what's going to happen over the next few years? We see more and more of microtransactions. We see more of paying to be a level ahead of somebody else that's actually sat there and taken the time to sit down and play the fucking game. But no, you can pay fucking $20 and all of a sudden you're 2-3 levels ahead of that bastard. And microtransactions has to come back to I wouldn't say the new era, but certainly something that's affected the gaming history, and that's phones. I think microtransactions came with phones. Well, it may not have came with phones. It didn't originate with phones, but it was certainly...
Phones had the largest impact on it.
I'm looking directly at you, King Games.
They did, but also you have to understand a lot of the microtransactions now are basically what would have been cheats in a normal game.
Yes.
Especially with Dead Rising 2 and 3. A lot of what would have originally just been cheats were put in as, microtransactions or DLC just to sort of, or, pre-order bonuses. So, yeah, it's like they realized there were all these fun things that they could just charge people for, and people would actually buy them.
Yeah, get this ninja pack, get this robot pack, get this fireman pack, get this pack, get this pack.
And as a collector, I have to admit, it's kind of killing it a bit for me, because you don't get this content on disc. And in years to come, when we're 3-4 generations later and consoles or whatever, that stuff is probably not going to exist anymore, and I'm not going to have the complete game sitting on my shelf, except for, again, things like Blood Dragon and Undead Nightmare, which came in its own physical copy. A lot of this other crap is just not going to exist anymore.
Don't you want that $130 worth of cosmetic DLC for Evolve?
Can I go back to DayZ for a sec? Because
Yep.
obviously you three, know that I've been exposed to it lately, and I've only been playing it for a couple of months.
Yes, his wife left him. His children have disowned him. He's a regular DayZ player now.
I was going to say that feel.
Them DayZ feels.
We tried to play tonight, but the reason we couldn't play tonight because the game was updating. Exactly. Now, we've paid for that game originally, but we get an update every Wednesday. There's something new or that comes into the game, or there's something that's patching the game as such and making it a better experience on a weekly basis, and there's no cost involved in that at all.
Get the fuck out of here! No, I cannot.
Yep.
That's right. And they've said consistently that the sales of the game are funding and driving the game. They don't need to consistently release shit for it. Rocket, the guy that made it, even though he's left the company now, I believe, he did say that at one stage they looked at potentially having cosmetic items, but they dropped the idea because it would be against the idea of DayZ.
Well, he wants to pay for cosmetic items when you're going to die and lose it all anyway.
You bring out cosmetic items, the fools will come.
Yeah, that's true too.
They will look at Evolve, look at Dead or Alive 5. Look, there will be someone out there for Dead or Alive 5 who will drop $800 on the first day.
Of course. And if I had that kind of money to be able to do that, I probably would too, but I don't, so I'm not going to.
I would slap the shit out of you.
If I could drop $800 in one day on one game, then I've got more money than I need to ever worry about, so...
Alright, a great thing to ask. What's the worst piece of DLC you can remember buying? Even if it's a couple of bits. The worst piece of DLC I can honestly remember buying, horse armor for Oblivion. I bought the horse armor when it first came out.
You were one of those suckers.
Yeah, I was. I was like, I bought that the first day it came out. I actually thought it would have an impact on the game. My God, what was I thinking?
DLC, because see, I don't really... I'm against day one DLC, and I don't...
It doesn't have to be day one. You must have bought something crap.
DLC? See, the only do... yeah, probably the zombie maps for Black Ops 2. I really don't... I'm really appalled by the idea of a lot of DLC, and I refuse to touch it. I just refuse to touch it. The only DLC I can tell you right now that I've bought is map packs for Nazi Zombies, all the DLC for Dead Island, and which, by the way, the Ripper mod, Day 1 DLC, is a crap weapon. Okay, there you go. The Ripper mod. There we go. It's a crap weapon, and they made such a big deal out of it.
It was a pile of shit, wasn't it?
And Guitar Hero is the only other DLC I bought.
Yeah, but Guitar Hero is worth it. Guitar Hero has never really had bad DLC. Because they're songs, for God's sake.
The one thing they did do that's bad, and it's not really DLC, and you get codes with each game. They brought out a feature where you could put all the codes together on your Xbox and play all those songs out of one game. You put the code in, and then they ask you for $6.
What?
So you've got to rebuy all the licenses for these games to use them on with the one disc.
All right, Cam, what about you?
I think it was one of the Batmans. I bought the DLC, and I haven't played it. I haven't even gone through and done it. Like, I'd finished the game. I'd finished it so long ago. It was on special. I thought, oh, well, I'll buy it. And then I just never got back into the game to play it. So it was just a wasted purchase.
It's pretty bad when you buy something in a Steam sale and you feel ripped off, isn't it? All right, Jason, what about you? Have you bought anything and felt like you got ripped off?
Oh, mate, every fucking fucking COD DLC that's come out since it first started.
Hey, Moon Map was pretty rad.
Look, I'm probably going to get a bit of a kickback for this, but I do have a thing for COD. I don't know what it is. That's a whole other podcast or tangent
It's like
to
saying
go
you got
on.
it for crack.
Yeah, but I don't buy DLC unless I really believe in it, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah, unless it's a game that I really like.
Exactly.
I'd like to change mine.
Yep.
Civilization 5.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I bought that game, loved it, played it against a few friends, had great amount of time with it. However, they kept bringing out more and more DLC for it.
Yep.
So I would buy the packs. I think it was Gods and Kings, and then there were a few others that came out with it. And I got so angry because you then got people telling you that, oh no, you need to get Brave New World. Well, Brave New World is $49. You know, I'm not going to pay that. You know, I still haven't bought it to this day, and I haven't played Civ 5 to this day because that's just too much for me to spend on Civ game that I'm not going to play anymore.
So, what would you say the worst piece of DLC you've ever downloaded, Adam, is, or that you've ever purchased?
The worst DLC, and it's not necessarily that I've downloaded it, but the worst kind of DLC is not downloadable content, but disc-locked content. That fucking pisses me right off. When I know that something, you know, you go to download it and it's only a couple of megabytes, I know that motherfucker is already on the fucking disc. It's just fucking locked behind a goddamn paywall, and I fucking hate that.
Hell, yes.
Disc lock content is bullshit.
That is fucking shit, and I hate it. They should stop doing this bullshit, and people should stop pre-ordering fucking games so that it stops. Fuck it up. Don't go to EB Games and pre-order your fucking games. They mass-produce them so much that you are not going to miss out.
All right, quick stopping. Keeping on, guys. Yeah, and part of the problem is, I mean, I hate it when you buy something and you purchase something and you go, oh fuck yeah, I just got I got 4 new Batman skins. This is awesome. They've just been, hang on, why is it only 250k?
Yeah.
Oh my god, they're on the fucking disc.
Yep, that's exactly right. They are on the fucking disc, and that's bullshit. That is stupid. Don't put out a full game and then lock parts off that are pre-order exclusive to different retailers. That's shit.
Oh, you mean like Evolve, like it's happening to Evolve at the moment?
Evolve,
yeah.
Evolve, and it's, you know, double the price to get the full game. And the bullshit thing with that game, the excuse that this developer has come up with that, oh, we have 100 team members on our team, you know, and each of those team members has a family that we have to feed, and our $60 in the US or, you know, $100 here in Australia is not enough to feed those families. That's fucking bullshit. Sell us a good fucking game, and, you know, word of mouth will spread around and it will sell well. Every game ever has been set at these prices.
Yeah, every developer has a family to feed. You know, every studio has families, you know, connected to them. It doesn't make Turtle Rock special.
No.
Yeah, and like we were saying, the fact is that it does not make Turtle Rock special. It does not give them the gratis and the moral pass to say here's $130 of cosmetic fucking DLC. But at the end of the day, it doesn't mean that you have to buy it either.
That's true.
You know,
no, it doesn't. It doesn't.
And if you're stupid enough to drop $130 on different coloured skins for your fucking hunters in Evolve.
And suffering your jocks.
You deserve to be face fucked.
That swear jar's getting pretty full. If we're going to go on the worst DLC, let's look at the best. As far as the best DLC goes, for me, it's always going to come down to a toss-up between Bethesda and Rockstar. I can't decide between those two because on the one hand, I love the Ballad of Gay Tony, but I also love Undead Nightmare, and I love just everything they did for Fallout 3. That Bethesda did for Fallout 3 and New Vegas, and I can't decide between them. But if I'm pushed, absolutely pushed, I have to go with Ballad of Gay Tony.
Seriously, fucking A. You're for real, man. You're...
Because that felt like a Grand Theft Auto game in itself.
I think that's what I love about those expansions. Like Undead Nightmare and Blood Dragon. They are their own games.
Yeah.
So it makes it worth it.
Well, Ballad of Gay Tony made Grand Theft Auto 4 fun. It brought back the fun to Grand Theft Auto 4.
Mm-hmm.
It took it from being this grim, dark bullshit to actually being an interesting game. So that was DLC done right, and Rockstar, and to me, always do it right. What about you, Cam? What do you reckon?
For me, I'm sort of similar. Fallout New Vegas, definitely. I mean, geez, the Old World Blues, The Lonesome Road, The Honest Hearts, Dead Money, just brilliant stories, self-contained, and had a bit of feed into the rest of the world, but they really did it well.
See, I'd love to say heists for part 5, but you know.
Yeah, you give up on that one, man.
Don't go there.
There's too much pain, right? Hey, Cam, at least you can boast that when part 5 comes out for PC, you'll actually have heists.
Yeah, exactly.
Willie?
No, they're not coming out. They're coming into part 6.
Jason, what do you reckon?
I'm with you. You actually read my mind. Fallout is one of my favourite series ever, so I'd probably say Old World Blues.
Yep.
The Think Tank, the humour in that add-on, and the size of that add-on. It was huge. It was the biggest add-on, I think, out of a lot of them. But I really did like Point Lookout and Fallout 3 as well.
Oh, that was atmospheric as fuck, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Just walking around that whole unit complex. Where you find out the Chinese agent's been in and he's been killed.
Yeah.
And
then having to swim out to sea through the sewer pipe. And it was just... Point Lookout was fantastic, but I do have to say the Old World Blues.
So, I mean, there are companies that do DLC perfectly, and they don't exploit it. And there are companies that exploit the shit out of it and do it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And would you go with World at War Nazi Zombies maps?
For the perfect, a good example of DLC.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely would, but again, only because they didn't know what they had and they needed to give people more. So it wasn't deliberate.
Yep. But would that be your actual choice for saying the best?
Oh no, best DLC. Ooh, I'm probably going to go with Blood Dragon only because I had so much fun with it. I know it's more an expansion, but DLC by definition, downloadable content, extra bits for the game.
It was considered standalone DLC.
Yeah, either that or probably Ryder White. Actually, that was a lot of good gunplay for Dead Island. I kind of enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, so Dead Island didn't have completely crap DLC.
No, actually, Ryder White campaign was once you got past the first little bit, it was actually really brilliant fun, and it was all gunplay, and it was excellent.
Yeah. So, I mean, with everything we've talked about over this last half hour or so, you people listening only heard half an hour, but we've been talking for, oh God, I hate to think so.
Hour and a half over.
But with everything we've been talking about, the fact is that DLC can be exploited, as we all know. Season passes, I hate.
Yes.
Cam, I think, and Jason, I think we can all conclude that season passes suck and probably rarely ever actually reflect good value for money. Would you reckon?
I've yet to encounter one that is?
Season passes, I would say, hardly ever reflect good value for money. And I'm yet to encounter one that does. The only ones in recent memories I could honestly say do wasn't even called a season pass, and that was the one that you got for Fallout New Vegas. That's a long time ago. So we're getting ripped off, and we're just feeding the beast.
Pretty much.
Personally, as far as DLC goes, I actually see DLC reverting a bit. Apple recently put out a thing where they've got something going up on their store where they've got premium priced games now, and they're going away from the the free to play model, and
Really?
they're going away from the free to play model. They're putting in this new concept of paying once.
Yeah, I prefer that.
Yeah, I know it's a new idea.
But I mean, you look at what they like. Look at Angry Birds when it first came out. You paid once and you got the whole fucking experience. And you got all those. When the updates came out, you got the new levels.
Yeah, or you paid nothing when it was ad supported.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly right. But it was just a little banner in the bottom. Fuck, I didn't look at those ads half the time anyway. Who looks at ads? I mean, that's really
Only out of the corner of your eye to make sure they don't actually press them.
I don't know. Everybody was.
Yeah, well, that's right.
Everybody was looking for those porn numbers, you know.
I see DLC hitting in a completely different way.
Yep.
I see, okay, this game comes out. If you buy it at EB Games, GameStop, whatever you want to call it, you get this pack, this set of levels. If you buy it at Kmart, you get another set. If you buy it at, so this story content is going to be broken up and spread out between retailers. I hope that that's not what happens, because that would completely suck the fun out of it.
Happened once.
Yeah, that's a good point, Adam. That is a good point. With
And in the meantime,
you don't get the full game.
Exactly.
I think it was it with Batman? Was it with Batman Arkham Knight? Well, that's not the one. That's the one that hasn't come out yet. Sorry, Batman Arkham City. I think if you bought it on Xbox, you'd get it, or you bought it on PlayStation, you get a different mission or something like that.
Oh, what's your best DLC, Adam?
My best DLC, I have two that I'm going to pick. The DLC, the two content packs for Grand Theft Auto 4 were both absolutely fucking awesome.
Yeah, I picked Ballad of Gay Tony.
Yep. I would say Lost and Damned, just because I'm itching for that biker game, and it was almost there. Great DLC. The other one is a pretty obvious one, and it's Blood Dragon for Far Cry 3.
Yeah, I also picked that one too, yeah.
Yep, absolutely awesome. Great game.
Yeah.
Really,
It looks like we're all Fallout and Far Cry fans.
And GTA, yeah.
And GTA.
Yeah.
GTA.
So in other words, we're all sociopaths.
Pretty good quality titles, though.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of them's from Ubisoft. One of
Yeah, but they really did well with that
Actually-
Blood Dragon. Holy crap. That was funny, that game.
Yeah, they knocked that out of the park. They
They're
really
fucking no, they...
On Best DLC, I'm guessing Steve might back me up on this one. XCOM Enemy Unknown's Terror Within.
Terror Within, Enemy Within.
Enemy Within.
Yeah, that was superb. That was really well done.
That's adding to your original game in a way that wasn't originally intended. Like, they created brand new content, maps, everything, and it took a while after the original release before it came out as well.
Yep. About a year and a half, I think it was.
Mm.
And it just blew the original game out of the water completely.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's all we've got time for. For you, that was about 30 minutes. For us, that was nearly 3 hours.
Yeah.
We hope you've either not knocked yourself unconscious while you've been trying to listen to us. We've had a great time bringing this to you again. We hope you join us next time for another Stuff That Fascinates Us podcast, or as we like to call them, STFU and Listen. So,
if you have any suggestions, please leave them down in the comments. We'll happily take them on.
And hit the subscribe button.
Absolutely. Subscribe so you can hear more of Cam's sexy voice.
I've heard people say that too much of anything is not good for you, baby.
And if you want to see more of our stuff, you're obviously at our YouTube page, but Google Plus at STFU Buddy, Facebook, Stuff That Fascinates Us, Twitter at tweets STFU, and by email STFU and contact us at gmail.com. All will be in the comments below.
If you'd like to see even more of Norm, look up Norm Bondage on X videos.
That should get us a few more likes.
And if you'd like to see more of me, next time you have a shower, just look towards the window.
Thank God for editing.
Oh, I'm not editing that out.
Why am I friends with you people? Why am I friends with you people?
But hit subscribe, leave a comment, and tell your friends.
No worries. All right, everybody. That's time. We'll see you all next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Screw you guys. I'm going home.
Excuse me, I want to drive.
Get off my bridge.
That's it. I'm getting out of here.